What's up guys, Evil here. Hey, this is just, I always say that. I noticed that in my videos. I go, what's up guys, this is Evil. Hey, I don't know why I say that. Anyway, this is just an update video because I haven't done one in quite a while, and my channel has hit another milestone. I'm right at 600 subscribers, so I just thought I would do a little update. I have a couple little things I kind of just wanted to show people, answer a couple questions, or at least a question that I got today. So I just thought I would put it all together in one video. So first off, right at 600 subscribers, thank you very much for all the people who are subscribing, all the people who are supporting. I really appreciate that. All the kind words, that really gives me motivation to keep going. I don't have a huge problem with trolls. When I do, I just block them. I don't really talk to them or anything, but you know, all the positive support I get is really awesome. I wanted to shout out and thank Bill from RC News. He featured me on his last RC News. That gave me a nice bump in subscribers, and it was nice to you know, get some credit for the video. He thought it was good, and apparently a few other people did too. So a huge thank you for that. A huge thank you to my club KCRC, because that video would not exist without them. All these guys are insanely creative, and they really make you know, my job of just shooting it really easy. So you know, anything that I have to show for, you know, what I've done here is really credit to those guys. A few people have inquired about my shop. I've done walkthroughs before. I really thought they were hugely boring, but since a couple people have asked, I figured I would just walk around it a little bit and show you guys what I got. And then I picked up something really cool yesterday at the store that is a great crawler hauler for you guys who are comping and need to have everything that you carry in one compact thing. It's really cool. So anyway, let's quit gabbing and take a look and show you what I got going on here. So this is my, I don't know, computer desk, editing center, whatever you want to call it. This is just a 21-inch iMac, 12 gigs of RAM, 500 gig hard drive. Not the top of the line, but you know, was within my budget. This is what I do all my video editing on. I use iMovie and Final Cut Pro to edit with, and then got the mic there for doing voiceovers. Some of you guys know that I do stuff for VP. This is where I record all my voiceovers and edit and shoot all of those videos. This is my PC. This is mainly just a gaming box, but anytime I need to test something on Windows or whatever, this is the machine I use. You can see it's off, the Mac is on. I'm pretty much full-time Mac user now. And then this is what I haul with me, and what I started editing video on. This is just a 13.3 MacBook Pro. Great machine for the money, got me going. It was pretty awesome. As far as models, these are the shelves where I keep all of my stuff. Some of my comp crawlers and things go there. That is a TC4 drift car. That has been an ongoing project for a better part of a year to year and a half. I suppose I will finish it one of these days. Club's really getting into drift, so it may be sooner than later on that. Exoterra. There's my SCX-10 Honcho, sporting the sweet VP-OMF wheels. Kyosho Inferno 7.5, the only nitro I still own. I used to race this occasionally. I just still keep it around because it's fun to get out and drive around every once in a while. Venom Creeper, one of my first crawlers. It's not set up to run anymore, but I keep it just because I'm kind of sentimental about it. This is my AX-10 Sportsman. Don't drive this as often as I should, but really fun rig to drive. Moving on. That's my I can never say that right, DJI F450 flame wheel with the nozzle controller. Basically my flying camera platform. Have not used it as much as I should. I plan on doing that in the near future. Ever since I built the house, my parents keep bringing all my junk from their garage. They brought over some old vintage Estes rockets. So I picked up a new launcher, and me and my daughter are going to launch some rockets whenever the weather permits. So hopefully they don't fly apart in flight. This is my T-Rex 450. I had a bit of a crash the other day. I was flying with low batteries in my transmitter, and it locked out and hit the ground. Kind of sucks because this bird's, 5-6 years old and had never crashed. So it hit the ground. Damage was light. It just broke a blade and stripped a servo. Whole fix cost me around $6 or $7, so pretty cheap as far as helicopter crashes go. Pretty stoked about that. Here's the retired RC10 B4. I used to race a lot at the local off-road track. Had my daughter. Time just doesn't permit for 12-hour race days on the weekend anymore, so that's collecting dust right now. Lots of dust. This is Vintage Alley. I think I've mentioned this before in some of my videos, but these are just kind of some of my past RC cars when I first started getting into it as a kid, and then these are, an indulgence as an adult, ones I always wanted but never could have. So when I've run across a chance to own them, I've picked them up, and that's Voltron. He's, I guess, guarding. Airbrush stuff. Just general junk, paint, iPod. This is my file server. It also runs this vinyl plotter, which is handy for making stickers and banners and things like that. It's very old. It's like a Pentium 4, but it does have a terabyte RAID in it, so there's plenty of room for music and movies and all that stuff. And then this is the bench where I shoot all of the Vanquish assembly videos. I have this roll of paper here. I just pull it down. The light just basically gives it a light box effect. It's really does a really nice job. I think the videos turn out looking pretty good, and it's a low-cost way of doing it. A roll of paper was like $12 for like, I don't know, 20 yards. When it gets dirty, you just cut it off, throw it away, pull down some more. Works great, and then you just roll it up out of the way whenever you need the bench space. This is the parts takeoff Wraith, essentially. As I've been doing stuff for VP, you put upgrade parts on, you take stock parts off. So you do that long enough, you get a pile of parts. So this is what I built out of the pile of parts. I just picked up a skid plate, a transmission, and a chassis, and basically built axles and put it back together. So I essentially have my stock Wraith again that I started with, which is great for just bashing around. My daughter likes to drive it, crash it into things. It's missing some things like lights and stuff, but we'll get all that on there eventually. Just old radios, little mini helis I like to fly around the garage. I just bought this thing. This thing was like $45 from this Chinese company called Banggood.com. But what a great flying little quad for 45 bucks. So if you think you might like to get into flying, it's a great way to do it at 45 bucks. Brought the Xbox down here because I never get to use it on the large upstairs TV. It seems to be perpetually playing Disney Channel for my daughter, so I don't play it much. But anyway, I brought it down here into the man cave slash lair studio, whatever you want to call it, so I can play some racing games or whatever occasionally. Charging station. There's my last of my batteries. Power supplies. There's just an old linear charger from my airplane days. This thing's super vintage. a B&B juice machine. I mean, that's from the 80s, but that thing's not going to break. It still works. Pretty awesome. Tools, tripod for shooting benchtop stuff. Here's the Vanquish Wraith. This is the demo rig that I'm doing all the installs on for all the, you know, insanely cool VP stuff. On the subject of wraiths, I just got a question right before I shot this video about how to do battery up forward, or battery, what do you call it, hood mod, battery forward mod. I thought I was the last person in the world to do that mod, but apparently not. So anyway, I know there's always new people getting into the hobby and doing it. I'll demonstrate with this one, since I have the luxury of a stock Wraith laying around. So your stock Wraith is like this. You have your ESC receiver box, your lights will be in there, and then the battery's in the back, and then you run wires forward to hook everything up. This, as far as handling, this is the ideal setup. It's got a good neutral weight bias, so if you're going to be bashing and jumping the Wraith, things like that, as far as easy as changing the battery, this is the way to go. If you're into crawling, or you're going for a more scale appearance, which the Wraith has a huge, just kind of detail scale building, a lot of guys are doing this, which is you do what's called the hood mod, which is you hinge it in some way. You can buy, just cable clamps or whatever. These hinges actually came on the Exoterra parts tree. They work perfect for hinges on the Wraith. And then basically you take the screws out and you install these little guys. These are a Traxxas part, which is 3727. It's a battery hold down strap for Slash, I think, but it works great for doing the hood mod on the Wraith. You just bore those holes out a little bit, just put a body clip through there. You have a nice hinge hood that gives you access to everything. So I'll apologize in advance for my wiring here. It's pretty bad, but this rig gets taken apart and put together so much that it's just not worth it to try and do a real nice job on it. So it's got just a Spectrum receiver tucked down in there, Mamba Max Pro on a Tekin Redline 13.5, and a Futaba BLS 152. But what you do basically is, I'll demonstrate here. This you have to cut this Lexan away. Obviously, move your ESC. There's one screw that holds that mount on. To pull that out, remove this battery box. That leaves you access to your receiver tray. And then right here I'll put in a picture, because I know I took a picture of this the other day. Basically I just shoe glued some Lexan onto the battery tray, the electronics tray. And that allows you a nice place to mount your electronics. And I just made it a little bit longer and put a bend, and I cut this Lexan down here. And that basically gives you a channel, let me grab the battery, to tuck a battery up front. And you just plug it in. It's not going in there because of this, but anyway, what that does is gives you room to tuck a battery up in the front. And once you zip tie it or clamp it in there, it's fine. So that moves all your weight bias forward. So if you're crawling, it's better. You have more weight on the front axle. That's what you want when you're crawling. If you're bashing and jumping, this setup isn't ideal. It'll cause it to jump funny and do other things. But anyway, that's how you do it. Like I say, towards scale builds, since I took the battery tray out of the back, this is a Dinky RC, what they call a drop box. I just painted it up on some Indy silver and black, and then just tucks in there real nice and gives the back part of your Wraith a nice scale appearance. So radios, 4PL, that's what I use to drive my comp crawlers, and then this is a old M11 on Spectrum. I use this for everything else. It's 4-channel. You can program to do just about anything you want. Parts, this is ever changing. Nothing lives up here for too long. And this is sort of an SCX-10 project I got going on. My daughter loves my SCX-10 Honcho. So picked up a set of axles, had some shocks donated to the project, transmission. I just need to pick up the chassis and a couple other odds and ends, and I can build her own SCX-10 if she would use it. If she loses interest, I guess I'll have an extra. This is this is her little bench. She likes to be down here and work on her cars when Dad's down here working on his. So this looks like it might be just a table, but as winter's approaching, it's going to be getting cold and snowy here real quick. So I had an idea the other day that I might build an indoor kind of a scale crawler trail. It's going to be built on two 4x8 wooden frames on casters that I'll be able to move around. And this is just kind of a sketch of what it's going to look like. Basically, you're going to drive up it, be able to climb across the top, go down, go through, back and around. The idea is to have something to be able to drive on, shoot video on during this winter, as well as something that I can haul to do a demo like at a local hobby shop or whatever. So you guys will see that some progress on that in the following weeks. I plan on documenting it quite a bit. So, and the last thing I wanted to show you guys was this thing. This is a pretty cool, it's basically a toolbox. I picked it up at Menards, but it works really great for hauling a crawler. It's got this nice retractable handle so you can drag it around on wheels. The top just opens. It's all ball bearings. There's enough room for two crawlers in there. I've stuffed my Sportsman and my 2.2 in there, along with spare parts and screws. It has this side has these parts bins that are removable, or you can just have an open channel there if you want. And then over here, it's like a tool section. Pretty cool. Allows me to carry everything I need without having to have a bunch of different bags and toolboxes and stuff. For comping, this is going to be really great. Obviously for trailing, I'll still probably do a backpack and a tool bag or whatever, but this is going to be really cool to take to comp. So I just want to show it to you guys. I thought it was pretty neat. So So anyway, that's pretty much it. That sums up my shop and what I got going on, what we're going to be doing here in the next few weeks. So just want to say thanks again for everyone who's subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I promise to work hard to try and bring you all kinds of interesting crawler content, and whatever madness all those crazy guys in my clubs can cook up, I will be sure to shoot that as well. Oh, coming up October 27th, KCRC is hosting the Goat Hill Scale Challenge. It's our first scale event we've hosted. This year we're keeping it kind of local, but we're really going to be perfecting the event as well as the venue, and then next year we plan to do a full-on hopefully national level event with sponsors and other clubs and some pro drivers, maybe things like that. Everybody's working really hard on that, so that'll be really cool. I'll get lots of video coverage of it, so you guys can check it all out here in the next few weeks. If you want to read about it, head out to rccrawler.com, go in the regional section for Missouri. There is a thread in there called Goat Hill Scale Challenge. That's where we're discussing it, planning it, everyone who's talking about what they're building and what they're bringing, and everything that's going to go on. So I encourage you guys, if you're interested, to stop by there and chime in with ideas or whatever. So anyway, that's it. Next time I promise we'll have some driving or something more interesting than just walking around my shop and running my mouth. So talk to you guys later. Have a good one.